much. I'm very excited to be with you today. So I'm going to start off our presentation with just a view and a little bit of an oversight around Telkom and what we've been doing within the gaming space. And I'm hoping that, in essence, we've really been in the gaming space for a bit over 12 years now, and I think it is important to almost highlight around where our journey started. In 2006, Telkom supported the Amateur Gamers Association of South Africa by providing server infrastructure for gaming for games that were being hosted online. And that was really our first introduction into what would be the gaming space, but it was still more of a play with regards to where our core service was, which is around the broadband infrastructure. In 2007, Telkom then hosted with Organiser online league, just more than 400 players online, and that was really big for us. 2007, 400 gamers playing and really taking their stronghold into the gaming space. 2008, we then as Telkom introduced a new product outlay, which was called Do. And in line with the Do broadband services, we then renamed the league into Do Gaming. And that's where the Telkom Do Gaming League really came to be represented. The Do Gaming League, in a lot of ways, in 2013, had become well established. We were referred to as the community as the DGL, and at that point we'd grown from where we started at 400 members to 4,200 registered players on our actual gaming league. By 2016, we then renamed the Do Gaming League to the Digital Gaming League, and we launched our first Masters tournament program, and we also announced the first 1 million Rand prize pool in South Africa. And that was really a big start for us, and it's showing Telkom's commitment into what is the game esport in South Africa. Further from that, we then also, in 2017, rebranded our proposition to become VS Gaming, really around repositioning and really focus around what we wanted to do within that space. We also had, at this brand relaunch, we had our international esports presenter, celebrity Paul Cello there, and really just to show our focus within the industry. The same year, we also launched our first Viva VS Gaming e-football festival, which is really focused around FIFA, and really taking and elevating the console gaming through a console gaming process and sport and activities in that space, and really bringing it at a master's level in our view. So together with our other gaming propositions on the master side, we really were committed into taking console gaming into a master's level. In 2018, we then again partnered with one of the most iconic international brands, Comic-Con, which is where we are at today as well. And at that point, we decided that we would be hosting our masters at this prestigious event. It was really the first of its kind for Africa. It was an exciting opportunity to really be at this inaugural Comic-Con and also be able to host our masters there. We also in that same year partnered with Esports, really bringing our commitment into the console gaming and the masters tournament around FIFA to the fold by having the 18th partnering around the FIFA 18 Global Series. Our winners were able and eligible to play towards the FIFA 18 World Championships at that point. We also then decided and really felt that at that point in time, we needed to have a lot more presence within the environment. A lot of the times, and what we had been doing in the past years was really being at once a year a festival that would take place, or else we would also be holding a festival at most 2 times a year. We then entered into a partnership with with Matrix Warehouse. And this was really a milestone for us because it allowed us an opportunity to really engage on a more regular basis with our community, provided with the relationship with Matrix, providing a safe environment where gamers can go play, socialize, and also an environment where we would also be able to host our championship games taking place. And this was this was launched in the latter part of 2018 at the Matrix Warehouse in Rivonia. But we didn't stop there. From a Telkom perspective, we've always wanted to ensure that we take and make gaming available to everybody. So in an effort to make it more accessible to all the gamers, in 2019, we launched our mobile gaming proposition, which is on the Telkom Plus platform. It was an exciting opportunity for us because now our mantra around everybody being a gamer could be qualified, could be achieved. We and the introduction thereof on the Telkom Plus was also to look at creating of leagues within that space. So even creating a competitive and a challenging and also partnership or player field type of environment within that space was quite exciting for us. Then where we are today. Today we are back at Comic-Con, unlike any other. It is online, but we still continue. The nicest thing, and I guess the advantage around the esports environment and our commitment within that space has been is that we are very much a virtual environment. As much as we will love having the amalgamation or culmination of the year's tournaments and the leagues that take place, being at an actual event like a Comic-Con, the game still continues whether we are at home or able to go out. So this weekend we are very excited about having our masters and our high school leagues, and really looking forward to another bumper year with Telkom VS Gaming on our end. Just to give you a view around where do we see the environment going from here on. And I mean, we're really excited. We think that we've made quite a large number of developments within our space. We're still committed to ensuring that we've got gaming both within the desktop space, the mobile phone, as well as the console space. We will be opening up registrations for our eDisky qualifiers very soon. Our second season of the Mobile League will also be opening up on the 1st of October of this year. And our 2021 season will also be starting off in December, as well as our high school league season. So we're really excited. We think there's a lot of opportunities, and we're really looking for more and more participation as we move forward. And basically, what I'd like to now kind of go through is really also just give us a little bit more view around all these elements that I've been talking about that we've introduced, and what does our actual league entail, and what do we do at the Comic-Con space. What we do is we're really about our leagues. We've got our masters, as I've indicated, our championships, as well as our high school leagues. We're also about our mobile gaming league, which we just recently introduced. And had an exciting year this year. And then we've also got the Masters, which take place at Comic-Con, and the eDisky Festival, which we were looking forward to having at Comic-Con Cape Town, but we're definitely looking forward to what's going to happen in May of next year at the first Comic-Con Cape Town that's going to take place, and really looking at having activity across the year and having the best of the FIFA players being crowned at this session. This is what we had planned as our roadmap for 2020. We still were able, both within the gaming league as well as in the mobile gaming league, to execute all our different cups and legs on the online space as well as the gaming space. It's just that the actual physical events have not taken place. On the leagues, we're basically our major league games around the CSGO, the League of Legends, as well as Dota, and basically breaking up into the different leagues that are available. I think one of the interesting things and what we've tried to do in a number of the games that we've had is also ensure that we are able to partner with a lot of sponsors on availability of different leagues in which they would be able to sponsor across the board. Also within our mobile gaming league, this is what we ran within this current year. We had a number of rounds, different games that were available, and running from the 26th of February all the way up until the 31st of August, and having the finals that would be coming through. For us, our commitment to gaming has really been around bringing and creating heroes, showcasing the heroes that they're, but also giving a financial reward for the commitment that people are making. And in so doing, we've also done the same, having up to 350,000 Rand within our mobile gaming league as the final winning prize that is up for grabs. This is just a little bit of a representation of where we went. We had a number of games and different finalists across the games. The different 8 finalists then played towards the final game that they were able to play in, and the winning player then walked away with 200,000 Rand. Second place 100, and third place 50,000 Rand. Then with regards to our league and our eDisky opportunity, I was listening in on the previous presentation, and I think it really kind of showcased what we've been able to do. Through our work with Toyota, we were able to create the Esports Challenge through our eDisky Cup. They were able to take up Cup 2, and they were able to basically promote and drive a festival and an opportunity for a winner of that particular cup to actually come through to our eDisky playoff, which will then allow that winner to basically play out our Masters finals. So with the top 4 players from the playoff determined, we will be heading to Cape Town for our final games. I think this is for us, what happened with the Esports Challenge was really an exciting opportunity to show how different brands can come together in order to drive excitement and activity within the esports arena. I think this would be a great opportunity just to really showcase a little bit of what happened within the Toyota Esports Challenge.
An automatic qualification into the Telkom VS Gaming eDisky Masters Season 4 playoffs in early 2021. The national qualifiers saw players seeded into pools of 5 to 6 players, competing in 2 matches a week in a round-robin format. The top 2 players of each pool would move into the wildcard knockouts.
He's got the ball, and he's got the goal!
Pool B was arguably the pool of death, pitting Riasat, Bravado's Waz, and Bafana Bafana star Young Savage against one another. Riasat was able to top the pool.
There it is, it's another goal! Riasat is just speeding along like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Unfazed did not drop a single game. Beast only had 1 goal scored against him.
No!
And Tebsa from Pool H scored a massive 48 goals.
Tebsa, straight there we go. Shot on goal.
As we moved into the wildcard knockouts, a bunch of celebs joined the action.
All the cool people who play FIFA up against the people who know FIFA inside out.
Top goal scorer Tebsa schooled DJ Heavy K.
3-0. He's not going easy on the celeb.
While both Keegan Buchanan and Questa also picked up a controller to compete.
Leroy Sané, he plays a lot of cross, and it's Raheem Sterling who latches onto it for the opening goal of this encounter. Keegan Buchanan is off the mark.
Rapper Rouge faced off against Riasat, and the match provided to be a friendly coaching session from the top FIFA player.
Oh, Rouge! I knew the moment I did it.
Unlucky.
Unfazed, Beast, and Masoom continued their unbeaten run into the quarterfinals, with Unfazed dropping out of the tournament following a loss to Beast in their matchup.
Is he going to be able to net a go? There we go!
Yes, boys.
Beast then went on to end Masoom's Toyota journey in a closely contested semi-final matchup, which saw the players each score 3 goals.
There it is, the first goal from Julio. Right. Is he going to be able to do it? Chips it over. This is it. There it is. Masoom. What an incredible performance.
And Beast eventually securing a place in the finals courtesy of a golden goal in the 5th game of their matchup.
And he does it! There it is! For first finalist, Julio the Beast Bianchi.
On the other side of the bracket, Riasat took down Zazie to secure his spot in the finals.
Could this be the opportunity that Riasat's been looking for? He's got someone there. Can he take the shot? He takes the shot, and there it is! Congratulations to Riasat.
The final matchup had both players compete from home. while football legend Stanton Stigger Fredericks and Kamza Mbata joined myself, Sam Tickle Wright, on commentating duties. Toyota pulled out all the stops with a COVID-compliant studio broadcast on par with top international FIFA competitions. The real-life football meets esports broadcast team was completed with Carol Shabalala on hosting duties.
It is time for the final showdown, the Toyota Esports Challenge Final.
Here we go. What we're going to see is probably what's very close to a real representation of football.
2 games with the highest goal tally would determine the winner. Both Beast and Riasat played it safe in game 1.
It's going to be a very tight one here. Not even a shot on goal from either player so far.
With Beast edging into the lead, scoring a goal. Quite good from the Beast. Could this be it?
Yes, it is.
In the second game, though, the Life Gaming player brought out his impressive counter-attack play.
The Beast just looks powerful now. Maybe he smelts that blood in the water.
Here's an opportunity for Riasat.
Riasat had a chance to equalize with a penalty,
Oh, and I think we've got a penalty there.
It's a penalty.
but it was not to be.
Whoa.
A good save from Allison. Wow.
You have to get super aggressive, but first you need to stop him from shooting again on the end of the box, and Beast puts it beyond Riasat.
Beast netted a second goal and confirmed himself the 2020 Toyota Esports Challenge winner.
Congratulations to Beast!
Great. Thank you. And I think really showcasing quite an exciting opportunity that we created through with Toyota, all the excitement. And we look forward to doing that and way more. I think what this event was testament to was also an exciting opportunity to see what we can do within the esports space around influencer engagements. We really topped and overdid where our target views were from an influencer as well as AVE as well. I think there is opportunity in South Africa, and I'm sure Dave, as he follows through on his end shortly, will show the opportunities as they are within South Africa, and not just looking at it from a global view. Thank you, and over to you, Dave.
Great, thank you, Wanda. I think while they try and put up the slides for us, first let me just, I guess, really thank you for taking us and the listeners through a journey of the last 12 years of where Telkom has come from and where they're going to. If having just caught the end of the first presentation, one of the things that quickly came to mind was, the legitimacy of the industry in terms of the eyes of the sponsors and various issues around it. I think that the first session was called The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. And what we're trying to demonstrate to you is really the good, and to let sponsors know that there are companies that have been plowing in and investing into the growth and the legitimacy of this industry for more than 12 years. The second point, which is really important to land, is to also thank your partners and your clients, Toyota and the team from Brand Inc. that shared with us the Toyota case study, which I believe was referred to earlier as well, as a benchmark to what can be done. Being able to, show the sponsorship opportunities, even in a digital world, to the real world, to being able to contact with fans out there, the engagement levels, bringing in celebrities, bringing in the local people that are behind the scenes, the shoutcasters, those that drive it, and doing it in a platform like sport, obviously eFIFA, which is clearly the biggest game in South Africa and easily accessible on sorry, just go back one slide, please. There we go. And not only were we able to, launch a campaign that so many sponsors out there can relate to as being similar to what they've been doing and what companies like myself, BMI Sport, have been tracking the commercial value of for more than 30 years. So the point I want to land is that not only did they go and do these things, but it was a research-based study They looked at what target markets and what sport and what devices would work best for their brand and who they are trying to reach. And as this slide clearly shows, they also measured it as well. They had targets. They blew their targets away, as you can see on the screen. They looked at certain AVE, advertising value equivalents for media that they wanted to generate for their brand, and more than doubled it. All right. And the results aside, which are quite phenomenal, what's really important to someone like myself and the sponsors who come to us every day and say, should we be getting into esports or not, is that it's backed by a level of independence, it's backed by a level of media, and it's backed by a level of return on investment, which is really, really quite important. Okay, if we can go to the next slide, please. So what's the status? And really what I want to do is I think if we land one point, and this is more to both the rights holders who we're learning every day in COVID-19 world have an obligation to do more for their sponsors. It's also for the sponsors out there that aren't really all that sure of how do I get this esport and how do I measure it and how does it work to my other sport and sponsorship programs. And the one point I really want to land is that, you know, it was said many years ago, one of the first esport conferences I went to in America with Twitch, and the one thing that's different about two things remain the same. And I think that's a lesson in not only how do we move around and look at the business and gaming and esport, but also how do we deal with the current challenges of COVID and the shift to digital, the pivot to digital as everyone, and the new normal, so-called, to see that while a lot of things have changed, a lot of things remain the same, and delivering value to a company and bottom line returns will certainly never go away. So where are we in the gaming world today? Where does South Africa sit? And the truth is that compared to obviously America and Europe, and I know you guys, and it's lovely to get, we can see that the sport market is huge relative to the opportunities in terms of music, TV, video games are growing, and they're growing exponentially. So really, in short, looking at the global picture, which is nice, it's rosy. It looks great. It's growing. Of all the sports in the world, if anyone benefited more than they lost in terms of COVID-19 lockdown, sport behind closed doors, the shift to digital, obviously esports and gaming were perfectly positioned to do so. Next, please. The point I really want to land right now is the fact that, as we said, the key is really about how do we measure it, how do we strategically work, how do we track it, knowing that the South African market is significantly different to a lot of other markets. In fact, the whole African market is significantly different to markets around the world where data costs are significantly lower, access to data is much lower, everyone is online, and everyone has computers and software and what have you. And our job really as an industry, and to some degrees, we haven't done enough here. And I know BMI, we've tracked sponsorship and sport for over 30 years. And when esport really started to come on the radar about 5-6 years ago, we launched our first local tracker on what the landscape looked like. And as the market continues to return, we need to do a hard job of I've heard it before earlier today, selling what esport is, bringing in brands that aren't endemic, that don't really get it. And we can only do that by showing well-respected, well-tracked research that shows them how to activate. It's not enough to just slap a logo on a screen. The clients around esport, those that engage in esport, want you there long-term. They want to know what you're adding value, why you're there, and how you belong in their community. So the really, if I can't underscore this enough, the need for rights holders, those with events, and for sponsors themselves that are in it. Esport isn't one thing. Gaming isn't one thing. And we're going to take you through some of the research now that we have locally to give you a better idea of exactly what I'm talking about and what we've been tracking here at BMI for the last 5 years. So if you can just click the screen a couple times for me. The really key here is, first of all, the massive growth that we've been able to see in esports over the last number of years. As you followed Wanda's journey and Telkom VS's gaming journey over the years and how it expanded and certainly has been expanding into different platforms. If we go back 5-6 years ago, this industry largely focused on the 10% of the 10%. And what I meant was the highly high-end esport player playing CSGO and Dota. All our tournaments were based around prize money on that. They needed a couple 100,000 rands worth of equipment to be able to play at the highest level. And really it lived in its own genre. It didn't include the Candy Crushes of the world, the mobile communities, the FIFA communities. Most people that we talked to back in 2015, even if they played gaming or esport of some version or not, really didn't even understand that they were part of that community. So that was the first hump, the first 3-4 years from 2015 to 2017. And you'll see the exponential growth there from 100,000 to close to 1 million adults, 19 years plus, who claim that they are participants. Now we've continued to see that growth to over 1 million, to where in South Africa, and these stats are only from South Africa currently, but from South Africa alone, we're now, last year, we're already sitting at 1.6 million people that regularly play esports. And this largely, and you'll see different numbers, up to 20 million people claim in South Africa and others, which again, you need to understand the market, the demographics, access, and everything else, but I won't go into that unless there are questions later. But it's really important to understand who these people are, what drives them, and to underscore the fact for sponsors that we are now the 4th and soon to be the 3rd largest participation sport in South Africa. Not only that, but growing at a speed of light, with close to 50% having only really become interested in regular followers or players of esport within the last 1 to 2 years. Next slide, please. And so when we go approaching our sponsors and our clients out there, it must be underpinned by local knowledge, local understanding, and target market fit. We need to understand that in this market, one size does not fit all. The fan or those engaged who play in something like eFIFA may not do the same thing or be interested in Dota or CSGO or strategy or mind sports or whatever the case may be. So the ability to be able to segment our market by demographic, male versus female. In this country, we look at even by population group, by race, black, white, colored, Indian, and their different effects. And most importantly, by what platform they are accessing the game. And every one of those things can change dramatically depending on the game we're looking at. So, for example, a natural fit, as per this slide, would be to have a look at your mobile gamer who's playing sport and largely FIFA, amongst others, who's black, who's male, and who's younger. And there's a target market in itself, which would significantly shift if we were looking to perhaps your CSGO, white gamer, higher income group that's playing mainly on a PC gaming or console basis. All of these facts are there. Same way we've been measuring sport and sponsorship. There's a difference between a rugby fan who follows the Currie Cup and one that follows the Springboks on an international level, as the case may be. So just to land that point really strong, the information is there. The research is now available. And we need to up our game as an industry, as both rights holders, to make sure that our sponsors are addressing the right target market with the right product choice at the right price in the right platform and getting that messaging out. And it's all possible like every other sport and sponsorship. And there's really never been a better time, as sport has been in lockdown around the world and is slowly getting back to play live behind closed doors, that there is an opportunity. We're moving into an incredibly tough environment economically. Many countries in the world likely will be in recession in 2021. And some of those huge traditional sponsorships are being dropped because companies have no option. But it doesn't mean they're going to stop sponsoring, and it doesn't mean they're going to stop marketing. And they're looking for nice soft landings that can offer them the youth market that no one really has been able to do as those TV audiences get older and older every year. Next slide, please. So really just as a very brief summary, and it's a lot of the things will be raised over the next day, day and a half, 2 days of the conference and right through Comic-Con, are what are the local challenges and what is required to turn those so-called challenges into opportunities. And I think the whole idea of what Wanda's journey has been to show you what goes on in the esport landscape and how much has been invested to build scale and access and how we're changing platforms, along with what a Toyota has done as a sponsor of an initial leg that could be grown on a much greater basis as well, gives you an idea how far we are now coming to the old school of let's go to one event a year, spend lots of money, slap some logos, hand out some freebies, and hope the sponsor gets a return on value, which they've been questioning, quite honestly. So what are our challenges? We're not China. We're not America. We don't have everybody online with loads of money that can download games or have access. So we have to build scale, and we have to make sure it's accessible to as many people that follow the chosen game. Access is exactly that. And in doing so, I always get taken to task when we say there's a lack of valuable properties, because every rights holder out there, and many of them you're going to hear from today, are going to say, what do you mean? There's tons of properties out there, thousands of them that aren't being sponsored. And that's true. And there are some really good ones out there that aren't being sponsored, but we're not making it easy for sponsors to come on board. We need to professionalize. We need to show the value, unlock the value in these propositions. And as I said, for sponsorship, it's long term. No matter what, music, art, culture, entertainment, it doesn't really matter. We need to make sure we take that, provide quality content. We have the back-end administration. We have the solid backgrounds. And the answers are exactly, as you see on the green, is creating more properties. That doesn't mean more events, more properties within the events. Having those content in place. Toyota was a great example of how out of the tournament they built content that was accessible on multiple platforms that they were able to get out and create that media ROI, that scale they needed. They used research to drive insights. They're back in the strategy war rooms, I'm sure, today, picking up more research on who they reached, who they were able to talk to, could they database them, are they getting test drives, how can they feed back to the local developers. The message to everyone out there while we're all gathering for the next day is this is another opportunity, as we talk about every year, where once we're finished on screen, let's get off screen, let's start collaborating, let's looking how we can unlock the commercial scale and move esports to the next level. Next slide, please. And this is a bit of fun. You know, I think everyone's seen what can be done in lockdown, how even music and, you know, people like Travis Scott, his astronomical concert, are now appearing. And these things happened 3-4 years ago. It's just we're in lockdown and the world is so much more acutely aware of the digital scene. We're beginning phenomenal numbers of people launching concerts, launching songs in the middle of an esport platform. And that's got to be exciting to everyone that's here. So if we can just finish up, I know we're always tight for time in these things, but if we can just get to the last slide, really. And then I'll bring Wanda back in to see if we have any questions. Just the next slide, please. I really just want to sum up with where we are and remind everyone, sorry, the one before that, that esport is not new. And this is what we're telling our clients and the sponsors that are calling us for information every day. Esport is the newest thing. Next slide, you've already heard about. And it's about being natural and it's about being authentic, my word. In South Africa, in Africa as a whole,
it's still a great time. It's still early. It's still a wonderful time to invest. It's an incredible time to, as a sponsor, get in early. And it's a great time to build long-term relationships with a youth market that will likely be our sponsors' clients for the next 15 to 20 years if they do it right. You know, what we're talking about is the next generation of customers. So how are we going to reach them is the question you should be asking your sponsors out there. Are we going to try and connect with them the same way we've always done in the past, through a logo on a screen and a TV? Or are we going to try new environments where they actually are, where they're actually playing, where they're doing stuff, where they're spending hours and hours and hours of their time every day? You know, 8 to 34-year-olds, the most sought after clientele for many of the industries that are certainly looking for a boost right now. There's simply no better and more efficient way